What is going on, boys? And today I want to talk about Seth Rollins' new faction, right? At the end of Raw After Mania this year, it has been confirmed Seth Rollins will be creating and building his own faction, right? Seth Rollins is the leader, Paul Heyman will be the manager, Braun Breaker is the first member of this faction. I can see more members being added. So today I want to talk about some wrestlers that I think could be added to this faction. So we're going to start off with the obvious choice, which is Seth Rollins' wife, Becky Lynch. Obviously, something else that actually happened after, the same Raw was Becky actually turning heel, right? On Lyra Valkyria, they actually just lost their tag team belts the day after Mania to Liv and Raquel again, making Liv and Raquel 4 tag team champions. But anyways, Becky after the match turned on Lyra. They're probably going to be setting that up. But obviously, Seth's new faction, Seth, Braun, and Paul are all heels at the moment, as we can see. So Becky, can fit the group now. If Becky was still a face, right, whether she was Seth Rollins' wife or not, a baby face, she wouldn't fit the group because the faction is a heel group. It's a heel faction. But with Becky turning heel, and I think this might have been done on purpose, I think we can see Becky join Seth, and I think this faction would be cool to have, a female wrestler in it, and I think Becky's the only right choice. It would feel odd to have a Seth Rollins group and a female in it, anybody but his wife, right? Let's just say, I know this will be random, but let's say Bianca joined the group. That wouldn't feel right, Bianca and Seth teaming up. I feel like if they do want to add a female into this faction, it has to be Becky, and everything can add up. She's already a heel, she's already Seth Rollins' wife, and I think seeing Becky, having Paul Heyman in her corner would be fun to watch. And it looks like she's gonna want to go for Lyra Valkyria's IC title belt. Who can help you get that match? Who can help you get that other than Paul Heyman? So I think Becky would fit into this group. I think she's the most obvious, but also the best choice to go into this new faction. All right, so the second choice here I think of is Austin Theory. The only reason is because it's like you're almost, if they're kind of trying to create like an Evolution 2.0. If you don't know Evolution, it was Ric Flair, Dave Bautista, Randy Orton, and Triple H, right? Seth Rollins being Triple H, Braun Breaker being Dave Bautista, Paul Heyman being Ric Flair, even though he doesn't wrestle, and then who would be the Randy Orton? Someone who is young, someone who can, is still young and, had a good rookie season and could still win a lot of belts in the future. Already has won belts, is Austin Theory, winning the U.S. title, tag team belts and stuff. So he already has a few belts to his career. He's a young and he has a great future with the company. Maybe this could be the Randy Orton of Evolution. And I think Austin Theory needs to do something, man. He's a great wrestler. He's great on the mic. And, people love him. The only thing is, though, it looks like they want to do a babyface turn, and like I said, this faction is a heel faction, so that's the only thing I see why Austin Theory wouldn't go into this group, is because of him. It looks like they want to maybe turn him into a babyface, and I don't know what they want to do with him and Grayson Waller still. I feel like at some point they want Austin Theory to turn on Grayson Waller, and then maybe even set up a match with Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. So because of that, I don't see this happening, but because I love Austin Theory and it would be fun. And then option number 3 here, if we want to talk about a Randy Orton of their group, and somebody that is actually a heel, is Carmelo Hayes. I think this would probably be my favorite one to add to the group, if they want to add a Randy Orton type of person. For one, he's a really great wrestler. 2, he's young, right? And 3, he has that heel character onto him, and he's great on the mic, right? I think a Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes, maybe even going for the tag belts, would also be fun. That would be a fun tag team. Both young, both came up to the main roster together, and we even seen their feuds before. They're great in ring chemistry. But I think a Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins, Carmelo Hayes group with Paul Heyman as a manager would absolutely cook. This is my number 1 pick, to be honest with you. My number 1 male pick would be Carmelo Hayes. My number 1 female pick would be Becky Lynch. But Carmelo Hayes would absolutely go crazy. And if you want to think about all the last year's NXT people that got moved up, Carmelo Hayes is the one that got pushed the least, right? Tiffy won Money in the Bank and became women's world champion, and then Braun Breaker won the IC title and stuff, and he's been doing his thing, and now he's part of this group. So I just feel bad out of those 3. Carmelo Hayes has been being pushed the least, and he needs something to do. So take him out this stupid Miz tag team, throw him in this new faction with Seth Rollins here, and it would help his career, and it'll push him like crazy. And then another option here would actually be Dragunov, because they said anytime he could return, right? Either he's cleared, ready to go, they're just waiting for the right time. Same as JD, right? JD was cleared and good to go for a little while there, but they're waiting for the right time. And then as we see in Raw after Mania, he came back to help Dom retain his IC title against Penta. So I think if they brought JD back, Dragunov can come back anytime. And, like I said, another young guy that moved up from the NXT roster, last year to the main roster, out of that group that, him and Carmelo were the ones that, didn't really get pushed like Braun and Tiffy, right? They weren't winning the belts. They weren't winning Money in the Bank. They weren't really winning all these matches. Their Dragunov and Ricochet beef was cool for a little while, but, I can't blame Triple H and WWE because Dragunov did get hurt, so I don't know what their plans was. Maybe they had plans for him at WrestleMania to verse Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. I don't know, which I know everyone wants. That's like a dream match we want to see on the main roster, but yeah, again, if he does return, it would be a crazy return to see him come back in Seth Rollins' group. He would definitely fit in. Him and Seth are both probably he reminds me of Seth a lot in the ring, the moves he can pull off and stuff. So I think it'll be fun if Seth Rollins kind of mentoring, Dragunov there, and pushing him again, kind of like Carmelo Hayes. Let him get the push, man. And then the last option here, which could happen, is maybe, and which his wrestler's already there. Maybe he's part of the Rock and John Cena's plan, right? Maybe this group is, Rock is the actual leader, and John Cena's with them. So maybe it'll be Rock, John Cena, Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Paul Heyman type of group, right? Because, there has been some hints of like Seth Rollins copying the stuff that Rock does, with like lifting up the mic, the outfits he wears that Rock has worn back in the day. So there has been little teases of Seth Rollins maybe secretly being with the Rock. But, recently with The Rock on the Pat show, a cafe show there, and he pretty much revealed that there was no plans with him to show up at WrestleMania, or there's still no plans for, the final boss to come back at the moment. So with him saying that, unless it's just a lie, so we could get a crazy return with The Rock, but knowing The Rock and how he doesn't care about the business and just cares about himself, it's probably true, and there's probably no plans with him. So in my opinion, I don't think the Seth Rollins group is with John and Rock, and honestly, I hope it's not, because John Cena will be retiring in December, and I want this faction to go many years, honestly. I wouldn't mind this faction being like the Bloodline, lasting 2 to 3 years maybe, getting crazy amount of stories with this new faction. We need a new team, a new faction to run WWE now that the Bloodline is officially over with Paul Heyman leaving Roman. We need that next group to step in, and I don't think it's going to be Judgment Day, so yeah. I think we need a new group. That's the last option here. But yeah, those are the options I think could join the group. I think my two favorite picks is Becky Lynch or Carmelo Hayes, or maybe both. Add them both. Get Becky as the woman, add Carmelo in there, help his career. That's what I would do for Seth Rollins, a new faction. But if there's any other wrestlers you guys think that can join the group, let me know down below in the comments. Hope you all enjoyed. Drop a like, sub if you're new, and I'm going to catch you all in the next one.